Busan EFM. The English waves come in.
Busan EFM's Prime News at 6.
South Korea's exports slipped 18.5% year-on-year in January.
지난달 수출이 18.5% 줄어들어 6년 5개월 만에 최대 폭으로 감소했습니다.
The South Korean government has decided to strengthen security at the nation's main international airport.
황교안 국무총리가 국가관문인 공항에 2중 3중의 보안 테러 대책을 마련하겠다고 밝혔습니다.
South Korea has warned Japan over its continued denial of the forced nature of its wartime sex slavery during World War II.
일본 정부가 위안부 강제 연행을 부정한 것에 대해 외교부는 위안부 강제성의 본질을 흐리고 물타기하려는 시도라고 비판했습니다.
An emergency meeting of the World Health Organization is being held to discuss the explosive spread of the Zika virus.
세계보건기구가 소두증을 유발하는 지카 바이러스 대책을 논의하기 위해 긴급회의를 소집합니다.
South Korea's exports slipped 18.5% year-on-year in January. This marks the sharpest decline since August 2009 when the nation was suffering from the global financial crisis. BeFM's Eric Lee reports.
The Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy announced today that the nation's export amounted to $36.7 billion in January. That's down 18.5% from the same period last year. The drop is the sharpest to be posted since August 2009, when exports fell nearly 21%. Market observers believe that the decline resulted from temporary factors, including a reduction in the number of operation days and in-ship exports, as well as a decline in oil prices, a slowdown in the global economy, and a drop in key export item unit costs. The annual decline in exports last year stood at minus 7.9%. The sharpest drop was posted in October with minus 16%. Imports also shrank 20.1% during the same period to $31.4 billion. The amount of both export and imports have declined for 13 consecutive months since January 2015. The trade balance, meanwhile, has resulted in $5.3 billion, posting a surplus for the 48th month. As a result, efforts to post $1 trillion in trade this year are expected to face difficulties. South Korea failed to post $1 trillion in trade last year after recording the milestone for 4 straight years since 2011. The Trade Ministry found that exports of petrochemical products fell sharply due to the drop in global oil prices. Exports of key items, including automobiles and steel, also saw drops. However, new promising items such as cosmetic and organic light-emitting diodes showed growth in exports. For BeFM News, I'm Eric Lee.
산업통상자원부는 지난달 수출이 367억 달러를 기록해 지난해 1월보다 18.5% 줄었다고 밝혔습니다. 2009년 8월 이후 6년 5개월 만에 최대 폭으로 수출이 줄어든 것입니다. 조업일수 감소와 선박 수출 감소 등의 일시적 요인과 유가 급락, 중국 등의 세계 경기 부진, 주력 품목 단가 하락이 복합적으로 작용했기 때문으로 분석됩니다.
In the wake of recent security breaches at a key international airport in South Korea, the government has decided to devise measures to prevent future accidents. Prime Minister Hwang held an emergency meeting yesterday with key ministers to discuss ways to prevent security breaches at Incheon International Airport. On Saturday, police at the airport found a box that contained a threatening message that called itself the last warning and mentioned, quote, God's punishment in poor Arabic. A day earlier, the police found 2 butane canisters in a box in the men's bathroom at the airport. The Prime Minister stressed that keeping the nation's main gateway safe is crucial to defending the country, vowing to devise double or triple security and anti-terrorism measures. He also urged lawmakers to pass disputed anti-terror legislation. As part of the efforts, the government will increase information sharing with overseas intelligence agencies. The government will also boost security measures at 106 unmanned automatic immigration checkpoints at the airport.
황교안 국무총리가 인천국제공항에서 발생한 밀입국 사건과 관련해 긴급 장관회의를 열고 국가관문인 공항에 2중 3중의 보안 테러 대책을 마련하겠다고 밝혔습니다. 특히 우리나라도 더 이상 테러의 안전지대가 아니라며 테러방지법의 조속한 통과도 촉구했습니다.
South Korea has warned Japan over its continued denial of the forced nature of its wartime sex slavery during World War II. Seoul's foreign ministry yesterday addressed the Japanese government's report to the UN Committee on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women late last year. In a statement, the South Korean government urged Japan not to do anything that undermines their settlement of the sex slavery issue last December. South Korea stressed it is an, quote, undeniable historical fact that Japan used coercion to recruit what are euphemistically called comfort women during its colonial occupation of Korea. According to the website of the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Japan conveyed its denial of the coercive nature of its wartime sex slavery to the UN Committee.
일본 정부가 유엔 여성차별철폐위원회에 제출한 답변서를 통해 위안부 강제연행을 부정한 것에 대해 외교부 당국자는 위안부 강제성의 본질을 흐리고 물타기하려는 시도라고 비판하며 일본 정부가 위안부 문제에 관한 합의 정신과 취지에 벗어나는 사실과 다른 얘기를 하는 경우 우리 정부로서도 당연히 대응하게 될 것이라고 말했습니다.
In local news, about 20,000 Chinese tourists are expected to visit Busan to celebrate the Lunar New Year, which is considered the largest holiday in China. BeFM's Minji Shin has more.
The city of Busan expects to greet over 20,000 Chinese tourists during the Chinese New Year holiday, which runs from the 7th to the 13th. The number of Chinese tourists visiting during the holiday have risen steadily, up by 25% from the previous year. Accordingly, the city has signed an agreement with China's largest online hotel and airline reservation sites, such as Ctrip, Xinhuanet Korea, and has been focusing promoting the holiday. The city is also planning to hold a special welcoming event for Chinese tourists at Kimhae International Airport and Busan Port International Passenger Terminal on the 6th and 7th when the holidays begin. Several cultural institutions and private sponsors have also organized various events under the theme Natural Holiday, Familiar Holiday, and Spiritual Holiday. For BeFM News, I'm Minsu Shin.
중국 최대 명절인 춘절을 맞아 2만 명의 중국 관광객이 부산을 찾을 것으로 보입니다. 부산시는 오는 7일부터 13일까지 중국 최대의 온라인 호텔 항공 예약 사이트 등과 협약을 맺고 부산 홍보에 집중하고 있습니다.
Busan Special Judicial Police Department has exposed 12 food manufacturers that have issued false expiration dates or facts on their products. One of the manufacturers had false expiration dates on their products, while another one purposefully omitted information from the list of ingredients on their products. The department has warned consumers to be aware of expiration dates of food products, especially during the Lunar New Year holiday.
부산시 특별사법경찰관은 유통기한과 원산지를 속이거나 제품 정보를 허위로 표시한 명절 성수식품 제조업체 12곳을 적발했습니다.
The city of Busan held an executive session to evaluate the performance of job creation initiatives last year. The city selected Jobs and Economy Headquarters, Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries, Department of Public Social Services, New Growth Engine Industry Bureau, and Urban Planning Office as outstanding organizations for job creation. Some exemplary cases of job creation included the attraction of S&T Motive Factory, the opening of Busan Institute of Science and Technology Evaluation and Planning, and Busan Tips Town.
부산시는 오늘 오전 부산시청 대회의실에서 확대 간부회의를 열고 2015년 일자리 창출 실적 평가 결과를 발표했습니다. 평가 결과 부산시는 일자리 경제본부 해양수산국 사회복지국 신성장사업국 도시계획실을 우수부서로 선정했습니다.
Supporters of the 2030 World Expo in Busan have begun activities that will help attract attention and support for the event. The group of 2,500 supporters will run a signature collecting campaign and participate in online promotion activities by using social networking services such as personal blog, Facebook, and Twitter. The city of Busan is also planning to hold various promotional events starting this month with university students in Busan.
2030 부산 등록 엑스포 유치 활동을 지원할 서포터스들이 본격 활동에 들어갑니다. 부산시는 대학생 서포터즈 활동 강화를 위해 부산 대학 동아리 연합회와 함께 이달부터 다양한 홍보 활동을 벌일 계획입니다.
A 60-year-old lyricist from Busan, Jung, is creating a web drama to promote Busan's tourist attraction in honor of the Visit Korea year this year. Jung announced that he will produce a 20-minute-long web drama called Busan Arirang Girl in many of the attractions in Busan, including Yeongdo Bridge. The drama will be about a father who comforts his depressed daughter by making a song called Busan Arirang and their journey together in Busan to promote the song.
부산 출신 작가가 정준 씨가 한국 방문회를 맞아 부산의 관광 명소를 홍보하기 위한 웹드라마를 만듭니다. 정 씨는 영도다리 등 부산 곳곳의 명소에서 20분 분량의 단편 웹드라마 부산 아리랑 처녀를 촬영한다고 밝혔습니다.
Air Busan has changed its fee system for international flights from the existing round-trip basis to a one-way basis starting today. Due to this change, customers of Air Busan now have a wider range of choices when selecting international flights.
에어부산은 오늘 자정부터 국제선 온라인 운임 체계를 기존 왕복 기준에서 편도 기준으로 변경합니다.
In sports news, Kyoung came to lift the winning trophy of the LPGA season opening Pure Silk Bahamas LPGA Classic. The 20-year-old South Korean golfer carded 8 birdies and 1 bogey yesterday to finish with a 4-round total of 18 under 274. Kim entered the final round with a stroke behind joint leading players from England. With her third victory in the LPGA circuit, Kim is expected to boost her world ranking from 10th to 7th. The improved ranking will push her ahead in an intense competition among South Korean golfers to represent the country during the upcoming Rio de Janeiro Olympics.
김효주가 2016 미국 여자 프로골프 LPGA 투어 시즌 개막전 퓨어 실크 바하마 클래식에서 우승을 차지했습니다. 2014년 에비앙 챔피언십, 지난해 파운더스컵에서 우승한 김효주는 올 시즌 첫 대회에서 개인 통산 3번째 우승컵을 들어올렸습니다.
In international news, an emergency meeting of the World Health Organization, or WHO, is being held to discuss the explosive spread of the Zika virus. The meeting in Geneva will decide whether to declare a global emergency. WHO officials have declared Zika as moving from a mild threat to one of alarming proportions. Most cases will have no symptoms, but the virus has been linked to brain abnormalities in thousands of babies, mainly in South America. Declaring a public health emergency of international concern would establish Zika as a serious global threat and lead to efforts involving money, resources, and scientific expertise in South America and around the world.
세계보건기구가 현지 시간으로 오늘 소두증을 유발하는 지카 바이러스 대책을 논의하기 위해 긴급회의를 소집합니다. 한편 WHO가 남미를 비롯한 24개국에 지카 바이러스가 확산되고 있는 상황에서 늑장 대응하고 있다는 비난의 목소리도 커지고 있습니다.
Aung San Suu Kyi has arrived in Naypyidaw for the opening of Myanmar's first democratically elected parliament. The National League for Democracy, or NLD, led by Suu Kyi, will take over the government from the military-backed Union Solidarity and Development Party following November's historic general election. Suu Kyi is constitutionally barred from taking the presidency and has vowed to rule from the behind the scenes through a proxy. She has not announced who her party will nominate for president. Despite its landslide victory, the NLD in practice will have to share power with the military, for which the constitution reserves 25% of the seats in parliament.
반세기 군부 통치에 막을 내린 미얀마가 민주화 영웅 아웅산 수치 여사 주도로 새롭게 출범합니다. 지난해 11월 총선을 통해 구성된 새로운 미얀마 의회는 다음 달 1일 수도 네피도에서 개원식을 갖고 공식 출범합니다.
Now for the weather. The weather tomorrow will be mostly clear. The morning low will be -2 in Busan and -3 in Changwon. The highs will be 6 in Busan and 5 in Changwon. Find levels are good. It is currently 5 degrees here in Busan.
내일은 대체로 맑겠고 아침 최저 영하 2도, 낮 최고 6도로 예상됩니다. 부산 현재 기온은 5도, 미세먼지 농도는 좋음입니다.
It's time to wrap up the news for this hour. Thank you for joining us. Busan EFM's Prime News is delivered by me, Minji Hwang.
김은경이었습니다.
Stay dynamic, Busan.